Alright guys, so today we have the Epsilon wave. This is a request from Hub Dweller, and the Epsilon wave is SCP-1237. This is done by TheVolgun, so I already know that I'm going to get a lot of information. This is an uncontained Keter class SCP. Now, with all that being said, the Epsilon wave, some SCPs, just by their general name and, just the general name of them, sound threatening. And I've been taken by a couple of these so far in the past. Yet Another Murder Monster was one of them that just sounded like it was going to be a specific kind of thing, and it turned into be something completely different. The Epsilon wave, though, we'll find out. TheVolgun is one of those... he's one of those lore experts in this that anytime I'm doing a video by him, I already know I can trust the information. Another big one is SCP Illustrated. But yeah, I already know I'm going to enjoy this no matter what it turns out to be. Let's get into this. I hope you enjoy. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's get into this.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-1237. Object Class: Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Due to its pandemic and incorporeal nature, SCP-1237 cannot be contained in a traditional sense. Containment of SCP-1237 at this time shall be focused on information management and on identification and containment of SCP-1237-1 positive individuals.
Okay.
Any non-Foundation scientific research which could lead to discovery of SCP-1237 is to be suppressed by any means necessary. Conscription of researchers involved in such studies, as Foundation personnel or as D-Class, is authorized.
Okay.
The Foundation is to sponsor efforts wherever and whenever possible to promote widespread DNA testing of civilians for the purpose of identifying SCP-1237-1 positives, including but not limited to mandatory testing of and other convicted offenders, DNA testing as prerequisites for employment or insurance
Okay, so this got edited out in his audio, but limited in not including two mandatory testers of sex offenders and other convicted offenders.
Eligibility: DNA fingerprinting as a means of identification, universal prenatal screenings, and home DNA testing kits, ostensibly for the purpose of determining a person's ancestry. All Foundation personnel and any civilian who is allowed to know of the Foundation's existence must be tested immediately.
Okay.
Information is to be disseminated in the medical community to the effect that an SCP-1237-1 positive result in a prenatal screening is evidence of a deformative condition with low viability and extreme health risk to the mother, and doctors are advised to recommend that such pregnancies be terminated. If a known SCP-1237-1 positive pregnancy is not voluntarily, induction of involuntary is authorized.
Wow.
The Foundation is to sponsor any and all
Okay, so sometimes it's hard not to read ahead of what he's saying, but I reached at it about the same time, and if you're sitting there reading along with the screen up here, okay.
Organizations or charities providing prenatal screening and services, whether legal or not, in developing countries where these services do not exist. If these efforts are unsuccessful, sponsorship of organizations participating in campaigns of involuntary sterilization, ethnic cleansing, or genocide is authorized against populations with statistically high rates of SCP-1237-1.
What the?
Any person presenting at hospital or police or otherwise identified as having experienced an SCP-1237 event is to be detained for study and testing. If the individual is SCP-1237-1 negative, they are to be debriefed, administered Class B amnestic, and released. Any person found to be SCP-1237-1 positive or to have caused an SCP-1237 incident is to be detained immediately for study and debriefing. After debriefing, they are to be administered Class Omega amnestic and detained indefinitely. Positives are to be regularly dosed with Class C amnestics to prevent any development of new memories regarding the existence of the Foundation or any staff handling them. Benzodiazepines to minimize slow-wave sleep and to prevent REM sleep, and during sleep shall be monitored at all times by EEG. In the event that any positive enters an SCP-1237 state during observation, they are to be terminated immediately.
Oh my god.
If any SCP-1237-1L is identified by the Foundation, authorization is granted to employ them once and only once to attempt to neutralize a Keter-class SCP object at the discretion of O5. After said attempt, whether successful or not, subject is to be terminated immediately. If any high-profile person or public place is affected by an SCP-1237 event, the Foundation is authorized to take whatever steps necessary to prevent public knowledge of this change, up to and including termination or complete destruction of the person or place so affected.
Oh my god.
Description: SCP-1237 is a state of electrical activity in the human brain, a brainwave in common terminology, observed in certain individuals during periods of extremely deep sleep. This state, informally dubbed Level 5 sleep or Epsilon wave sleep, is profoundly difficult to awaken the subject from. Prior to adoption of current containment protocols, experiments with loud noise, bright lights, chemical injections, electrical stimulation, oxygen deprivation, physical injury and mutilation, and all failed to arouse the subject. The ability to exhibit SCP-1237 is controlled by a gene designated SCP-1237-1. SCP-1237-1 is present in approximately 0.% of the total world population. However, this number is as high as 1% among and ethnic groups. Percent of SCP-1237-1 positives experience at least one SCP-1237 event in their lives. Percent experience 2 or more. The majority of SCP-1237 events occur when the subject is in their late teens to early 30s.
Okay.
Whereas SCP-1237-1 negative individuals do not exhibit REM activity during the deepest stages of sleep, SCP-1237-1 positives do. Dreams experienced during an SCP-1237 event are not of a significantly different nature than dreams experienced by negatives.
Okay.
They may involve the dreamer participating in routine daily activities, find them in impossible or illogical situations where people they may or may not know behave uncharacteristically, or find them in scenarios most people would find terrifying. As with ordinary dreams, the subject has no apparent control over the setting or events of the dream or their actions therein.
Okay.
When dreaming during an SCP-1237 state, however, the brainwaves responsible for REM activity and SCP-1237 activity interact to produce a reality-altering effect.
Oh.
After an SCP-1237 event occurs, any physical or mental changes that occur to the subject in the dream will occur to their waking form as well. If the dream involves persons or places that the subject has personally interacted with or visited, those persons and places will be altered as well, in accordance with the nature of the dream. Imaginary persons or places not personally known by the subject are not affected.
Okay.
Transformation is instantaneous in all cases that have been observed. In general, memories of people not involved in the dream are unaffected. People encountering persons affected by an SCP-1237 event will believe that the changes are correct and that the person has always been that way. However, they will have memories that this is not the case. Attempts to reconcile this among witnesses to an SCP-1237 event tend to result in chronic uneasiness, paranoia, and documented effects of SCP-1237 events have included loss of limbs and organs, or spontaneous regeneration of limbs and organs previously lost.
Okay.
Complete and total changes in physical appearance, gender, personality, memories, age, or species. acquisition of superhuman abilities, including the ability to fly, lift extremely heavy objects, survive without oxygen, or see through solid objects. Significant changes in the architecture and floor plan of buildings, of the layout of city streets, or of the appearance, characteristics, or names of landmarks. Changes in the outcome of historical events the subject was involved in. Individuals returning to life several years after dying. The spontaneous transformation of national governments from one form to another. For example, from a republic to a constitutional monarchy, or from a democratic confederation to an autocratic dictatorship.
Reality benders are simply no joke. Reality benders are simply no joke in the SCP universe, and they don't take it lightly.
A very small percentage of SCP-1237-1 positives, believed to be in single digits worldwide, designated SCP-1237-1L, are capable of lucid dreaming, the ability to control the nature of their dreams, including those occurring in SCP-1237 events. To date, only one SCP-1237-1L has been identified by the Foundation. See Experiment Log T98816 OC-108682 for details pertaining to its disposition. Addendum. Note from senior researchers. It is of the utmost importance that all agents assigned to SCP-1237 Containment understand exactly how dangerous this phenomenon can potentially become.
Yeah.
We have no idea how much of our world has been changed by these dreamers in the past. A single positive, having a single dream, has the potential to change the world for the worse. What if a mortician watches a scary movie, then falls asleep and dreams their town is part of a zombie apocalypse? What if a globetrotter dreams about the end of the world? What if someone aware of our existence dreams of a world where there's no such thing as the Foundation? We're talking CK, maybe even XK level events here. As it stands right now, we don't even know how many of these people are out there that we haven't found.
Yeah.
For this reason, I want to stress that any means necessary to implement universal DNA testing and to remove these people from the gene pool is authorized, and that there is absolutely no margin of error for mercy. When you became part of this organization, you understood that we sometimes have to do horrible things in the name of the greater good. Things that make it hard to sleep at night. I must
hate the wording, but understand.
Ask you to do those horrible things and continue doing those horrible things for as long as it takes to neutralize this threat. Because it only takes one positive who can sleep at night to create a world where the rest of us will never wake up again.
Oh man alive. I didn't even know.
This concludes today's lecture. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye.
Okay, so something like this is, oh God, imagine the steps that they would take to stop something like this from happening, because the threat is extremely real. The threat is monstrously real. Now, the lucid ones, they might not be as big of a threat, but the ones that dream, oh my goodness. No wonder there was so many things that they were doing at the start of this to eliminate those people. It's just like, no matter what it takes, they have to do this. Oh my God. It's just one of those situations where, and it's one of the things that, you know, I like about both 40K and SCP. SCP plays the part of the Inquisition here very well. And I'm going to apply a quote from the Inquisition. I don't know if it's an Inquisition or a witch hunter. But, and I can't remember how the exact quote goes, but you just forgive me for this. But the quote generally goes along these lines. You ask me why I would destroy a planet, destroy all life on it, burn billions of innocents if there was one single heretic among them. You ask me why I can do this, and I ask you what makes you think I have the right to let them live. the same thing applies. It's like, at this point, the Foundation, with something like this, they would have to take steps that are downright pure, 100% unadulterated evil in order to do the most good they possibly could. And you could only blame them so much for it, because the result of them not taking these actions is absolutely destructive on a level that nobody can really comprehend. I absolutely love this. I mean, oh God. You kill one or you risk everything. And a lot of these are tough. Some of these really make you think about, you know, what we would do if this was actually real. If this was actually real, what steps would be taken in order to neutralize threats of this magnitude? And the answer is every step imaginable would be taken. It wouldn't even be a question. And people would hate it. People would hate to know about it. But it would have to be done regardless, because one person having the wrong nightmare could kill millions, if not billions, of people. Or just outright destroy humanity from the get-go. Whoever wrote this, this was an excellent SCP. An excellent SCP. I love the ones that make you think about stuff like this. Like, what would we as a society do to contain a threat of this magnitude? But what would a group of people whose job it was to safeguard us from threats like this do to protect us from a threat of this magnitude? And the answer is always anything. The answer is always anything, because the risk outweighs any morality, any moral issues that could come up, any questions about good versus evil fly out the window, because good and evil are concepts that don't matter to contain something like this. Another excellent SCP added to the list of excellent SCPs. At some point, I'm going to have to do a list of the SCPs, my ranking of, you know, how I feel about specific SCPs that I've seen so far. I'll need to do a video on that, ranking them and my reasons why. Until then, guys, all the Volgun's links are going to be in the description down below right next to my own. Please go check him out. Check out all of his links. Got a car going behind me. It's almost what? It's late in the morning. I've lost my train of thought. This was too good. Well, all their links will be down in the description below, including my own, including to my Discord, to the Patreon, everything else like that. But if you really want to support the channel, a great way to do it is just hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, hit the like button, and leave a comment here. This was outstanding. I will catch you guys next time.